Here I come again with my story. Today is about Tortoise, the king, and the elephant. Once upon a time, there was a king, a very wise king, a very peaceful king, even though very strong and then revered by his neighbors. But he was aging, and he has only a daughter, and the daughter was very, very beautiful. So he decided that whoever would marry his daughter must bring elephant to him on the person's back. He called his kinsmen and he told them his decision. He said, your daughter, my daughter, is of marriageable age. And you know I don't have a son, that whoever marries her will become the new king. So what I am saying to you today is that you should spread the news that whoever is able to carry the elephant on the back will be the person I will let marry my daughter. The person will bring the elephant to this palace on the person's back, not elephant following the person, no, on the person's back. The king's men started shaking their heads. They thought the king was getting senile or something was wrong with the king. They couldn't understand it. They argued and argued. The king said, you have to stop arguing. I know what I'm saying. Because anybody that can perform that feat must be a very wise person. That person, because it's not only when physical strength that you use in defeating your enemies. If you have good brains, you don't even need to go into fights. You will defeat enemies without fighting if you are very wise. So they sent out the town crier. The town crier went around calling everybody and telling them what the king said. Meanwhile, the king's men were going home. On their way, two of them saw Tortoise sitting under a tree. Tortoise saw them as they were passing. They greeted him and they continued their argument. And Tortoise called them back and said, what are you arguing about? I don't understand what you're saying about king and the elephant. Then they told Tortoise what the king said. Tortoise started laughing and said, why are you arguing about this? I can do that. I can bring elephant on my back. They all started laughing at Tortoise. Look at him. You are the smallest in the kingdom. You can't even walk well. Look at how you are, scrawny. And you say you can bring elephant on your back. They dismissed him and went their way. Tortoise decided to go get elephant. So Tortoise went. As Tortoise was getting close to elephant's house, Tortoise started calling elephant. My brother elephant, my brother elephant. One man whom if you want to welcome, you will tell him, welcome my people. The man whom will be the animal that is eating food, chewing the grass, eating food while the hunter is spraying bullets around him. Come, my brother, come. Calamity has been falling me. The goat has eaten the palm frond on my head. He was crying. Elephant came out and said, why are you lamenting, Tortoise? What is wrong? Tortoise said, oh, if you see what I am seeing, there's this beautiful woman I wanted to marry. And what did the father say? That I must come and bring my people to come and see him. And I don't want to bring these chicken and lizards and all of them to come and see him. I want you, elephant, because if the king sees you, the king will know I have big people. I want you to come with me. Elephant says, that the only reason you're crying? I will come with you. I'm not doing anything. So elephant got ready and went with Tortoise. Meanwhile, Tortoise had a rope in his hands. When they walked a little while, Tortoise said, elephant, I'm getting tired. Please, can I sit on your back so that you will carry me for some time? Elephant said, yeah, you can sit on my back. You are not heavy. Elephant went on, tortoise went on elephant back, and they continued. After some time, elephant was galloping and shaking, and tortoise screamed and said, oh, I'm going to fall and break my neck. Please, can I put my rope on your neck and hold it as an anchor so that if you go into those gallops, I won't fall off? Elephant said, oh, that's right. We don't want you to fall off. Okay. So tortoise then tied rope on elephant's neck and held it. As they were it was getting to noon. It was hot. Everywhere was very hot. And Tortoise started screaming, I'm frying up here. I'm frying. The heat is killing me. The intensity of the sun is too much on my body. Elephant, please, can I come under you so that I can stay in the shade under you? Elephant said, yes, come down. Tortoise came down, went under the elephant, still held the rope. And then they were going to the king's house. As they got at the outskirts of the village, Tortoise started singing. Ogom ogom akwọta m enyi galalanga. Ogom ogom akwọta m enyi galalanga. Elephant listened and said, Di anyị mbe, isi na ịkwọta onye galalanga. Tortoise replied, na-asị m n'inya n'ezie m anya galala, ọ n'ezie m anya galala ka ọ dịzie ya anya ka nsị na m akwọta enyi galalanga. Simply put, Tortoise was singing, my in-law, I have the elephant on my back. I have elephant on my back. An elephant will ask, Tortoise, who did you say you have on your back? Tortoise said, I didn't say that. What I said is that the land should look at me, and if the ground should look at me. If the ground looks at me, it will look like I have you on my back. Elephant continued. When they got to the village, everybody was looking at Tortoise. Tortoise was singing the same song, and they could see that the elephant's belly was touching the back of Tortoise, and Tortoise was holding the rope, and both of them were walking in unison. So it looked like Tortoise was actually carrying elephant on Tortoise's back. And the Tortoise started singing again in the middle of the village. Ogom ogom akwọta m enyi galalanga. Ogom ogom akwọta m enyi galalanga. Then elephant asked, Di anyị mbe, isi na ịkwọta onye galalanga. Tortoise replied, na-asị m n'inya n'ezie m anya galala, ọ n'ezie m anya galala ka ọ dịzie ya anya ka nsị na m akwọta enyi galalanga. And it was just an illusion. Anybody that looked would think that Tortoise was actually carrying elephant on his back. So the villagers were following them, screaming, and the elephant did not hear them because he was high up there, turning his head, wondering where the screaming was coming from. And then until they got to the king's gate, and the Tortoise started again in a loud voice. Ogom ogom akwọta m enyi galalanga. Ogom ogom akwọta m enyi galalanga. Elephant asked again, Di anyị mbe, isi na ịkwọta onye galalanga. Tortoise replied, na-asị m n'inya n'ezie m anya galala, ọ n'ezie m anya galala ka ọ dịzie ya anya ka sị na m akwọta enyi galalanga. When they got to the king's palace, the king was happy. The king knew very well that Tortoise was not actually carrying elephant on his back, but the illusion was there. Tortoise was on there, and the belly was touching the back of Tortoise, and he was happy that this was a very wise person to have created this illusion. So he gave his daughter in marriage to Tortoise, and then they tied elephant at a tree. Elephant stood there waiting. People were milling around, festivity, and enjoying that the king's daughter has gotten married. He looked for Tortoise. He didn't see Tortoise. Tortoise had already gone home with the wife. He called the Tortoise. He didn't hear anything. He broke the rope and went home. When he got home, he didn't even think about Tortoise again because he never knew what Tortoise did. But Tortoise had the problem of hiding anytime he saw elephant. Anytime he saw elephant, he would put all his hands inside his shell and his head inside the shell and just lie there like he was dead because he was afraid the elephant was going to kill him. Meanwhile, elephant didn't know he existed, that he was doing anything, that he did anything wrong. So that's what happens when people do horrible things. They might be the ones suffering the repercussion because they might think that the person they did it to will be coming to revenge when that person had already moved on. Shall we? War.